Hello, this is Kathleen Hutchinson-Marin, and I want to provide this short video to describe an overview of the evidence-based project paper that is due this term. First of all, the title page should include a description of your topic, the course name, and then of course the names of your group members. The paper is divided into 4 parts. Part 1. Part 1 involves designing a cover sheet, including a table of contents, and the introduction and description of the treatment or diagnostic method that you are studying. And of course, the introduction and the narrative in this part of the paper should not be written in first person and should be written in professional language. Part 2 of the literature review should describe the intervention or evaluation that you're studying and provide enough background for the reader to know your purpose and the procedures of the method that you're evaluating. Include references in this narrative, why is it important, and what particular population that you're studying. You should include at least 6 to 10 references, and only one of them should be a website. Please use APA format. The next section in Part 2 is the method section. Provide the reader with a short introduction about which terms you use to find your references, and then what types of articles that you included or excluded for your paper. Provide a short summary of each article, and then end it with a clinical bottom line. An example would be just what the authors are recommending for clinical applications. Finally, in Part 2, you'll provide from at least 3 studies the levels of evidence and completion of a form that evaluates these levels of evidence of the articles. Chapter 3 of your textbook, the Malign textbook, describes different levels of evidence and puts them, and you'll see them also on different web pages, in a pyramid format with the systematic reviews or meta-analysis in the top domain, followed by random control studies, therapy treatments, or diagnostic studies. Then level 3 is usually a well-designed clinical study but did not use random sampling or selection of participants based on a random criteria. And then 4 would be more of a case control study where some individuals are provided treatment and some are not. And then the lowest level is an expert opinion or individual case studies. Part 2 of the paper also includes a form called the Critical Appraisal of Treatment Evidence, or it could be called the Critical Appraisal of Diagnostic Evidence, depending on your topic of study. I'd like you to complete at least 3 of these CATE forms for your articles. Even if you have 5 or 6 different references, you're only required to do 3. I'm going to show you an example of a paper where the group members did all of the articles. Your evidence level should include at least some from levels 1, 2, or 3. You can certainly include experts' opinions or maybe some type of an interview with a professional, but those can't really be assigned to a CATE form. Part 3 includes the discussion and conclusion. In this section, you try to provide some type of interpretation of your findings. You might want to start out with an introduction and remind the readers as to what you're talking about and the purpose of your study, and then weave together your arguments for your conclusion and any other major points that you're trying to make. Part 4 is a little bit different than traditional research papers. I'd like you to think about what your group did, how they went about their literature search, and then think about what else you would do in the next few years. What other gap in information is there, and how you would approach it in terms of what information you might need, where would you look for the evidence, and then how would you evaluate your findings. And then lastly, I wanted to provide a summary of the points for each section. Now these points are for the final paper that is due at the end of week 6. You can see it includes all the different components that I've already talked about in sections or parts 1 through 4. In the individual weekly assignments, the assignments are designed for you to complete each section of this paper. And as you are doing this, that's what the double asterisks there are at the bottom, right in here. I might ask your group to revise or rewrite a section. And it's not just a request, but I'm requiring it so that at the end of the 6 weeks, your individual sections are almost ready to go. So that is why you have the opportunity to rewrite and revise each weekly assignment to not only just gain all the points possible, but also to have a nearly complete paper at the end of the term. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope this was helpful.